He likes to stay humble. That's it, man. It's one for the office. Sorry, in the middle.
The excitement around Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez's eagerly awaited super middleweight fight is intensifying as September 13th draws near. Terry Crawford has made the decision to close off his regular circle, the media, and even his fans during one of the year's most talked about training camps in order to fully concentrate on getting ready for what might be the fight that defines his career. His unwavering objective is evident: take down Canelo Alvarez, the undisputed super middleweight champion, a difficult undertaking that will put Crawford's fighting prowess to the test.
In the ring with Canelo Alvarez, but Terence is not going to see anything that he hasn't seen before. No, he hasn't seen this beast on fight night, but he's seen versions of this beast for a very, very, very long time. People have said that he's a blown-up 147-pound fighter. If you remember, he said it was hard for him to make 147 when he fought Errol Spence Jr. I was like, yo, how is that possible? I didn't realize like he was really doing everything that's needed to gain the weight properly. Most fighters don't know how to gain weight and fit into a weight class properly. He's done that.
Crawford has long been renowned for his versatility, devious footwork, and powerful punch combos. He is currently moving up from the 154-pound super welterweight division to 168 pounds. Crawford now confronts a formidable obstacle as he moves up to a weight class where Canelo has dominated for years. Crawford will go on the favorite to win this bout, a fighter who's been virtually unbeatable at the super middleweight limit. To further add intrigue to the situation,
Canelo is the last fighter in our generation that's a Hall of Famer, that got the biggest name in the sport. So, I chose to go up in weight and to actually try to conquer him from, all his achievements in the division. So why not? I just respect him as all. He's a great fighter. He's, a good boxer. He's a good counterpuncher. He's never, off balance. He got a good chin. He got good power. Got, good movement when he want to move. What is there to not say about him?
No, I got you. Now, with all of that, as you rattled off, we'll call it the scouting report, right? What will you have to do to be your best version in order to get this victory?
I think just be myself and just don't get careless in the ring and, stay sharp all 12 rounds if it goes 12 rounds. I think that's the only thing that, I need to do and make sure that in training that I sharpen up all my tools.
diversions. His Colorado Springs camp, which is closed to all interviews and guests, is a testament to his unwavering commitment and concentration. The fight's most talked about elements include Crawford's preparation schedule. This fighter has demonstrated that he is capable of rising to the ranks and maintaining his dominance, despite having up until now competed in smaller weight classes. The fact that Canelo is inherently larger and stronger in this weight class makes the jump from 154 to 168 pounds noteworthy. Nonetheless, Crawford's team has stated unequivocally that he is making every effort to steer clear the errors made by other boxers who increase their weight too rapidly or without making the necessary adjustments. Maintaining his pace and fluidity, which have been characteristics of his style, is part of this.
Have sent me to determine in their mind that Terence Bud Crawford would lose to Canelo Alvarez, or is going to lose September 13th to Canelo Alvarez, as he is sparring here middleweight WBC world champion Carlos Adames, who is 24 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 18 wins by way of knockout. And people are saying that Carlos Adames, who's 5'11" with a 73-inch arm reach, is having his way with Terence Bud Crawford. And this is an indication that the 168-pound Canelo Alvarez, who's 5'7" with a 70-inch arm reach, is going to have the same type of success and knock Terence Crawford out. But what people are not paying attention to is Terence Crawford is standing right in front of Carlos Adames and taking the big punches from Carlos Adames as he's standing in the pocket and counterpunching him and taking his blows at a smaller weight class while competing at 147. Now he bulked up.
It is impossible to overlook the enormous disparity, though. With his 168-pound build, Canelo's power and pressure are hard for any opponent to match. Canelo's ability to impose his size and strength has allowed him to dominate numerous weight classes, while Crawford's boxing IQ and accurate punches have made him one of the sport's top finishes. Crawford's strategy will probably center on outwitting the Mexican boxer by staying one step ahead of Canelo with his speed and ring IQ.
We just got some footage. Terence Bud Crawford on his socials, on Instagram, that's where I got mine from. On Instagram, him throwing punches with the slip rope. I want you guys to tell me what you see. On top of that, I may get a copyright because I think he's playing some music, but I like the song so much. We'll just delete it later. Either way, after that, I show Canelo Alvarez on the slip rope when he was preparing for his last fight in Williamsburg.
The issue of Canelo's previous performances is another crucial one in the build-up to this bout. Some people think his best days are over, even if he is still the undisputed super middleweight champion. After Canelo's most recent victory over William Skull, some analysts and fans question if the Mexican superstar was still at the top of his game. Although he acknowledges Canelo's greatness, Crawford has been outspoken in his call for the champion to give it his all on September 13th. Crawford contends that both boxers must respond to the challenge because this battle will be a turning point in their lives.
Hall of Famer, you've been undisputed now in 2 weight classes. This will give you undisputed championship in the 3rd weight class. But not just that, you know you're fighting an all-time great, and you know that the credit's going to go to you if you beat a guy like Canelo Alvarez at 168. Is that why you want it?
Well, when I beat him.
When you beat him.
Definitely. You know, the stakes is high. You know, it's high risk, high reward type of fight, and I'm looking forward to it.
When would you say, from memory, that you first thought this fight was a real possibility, that you started thinking about this fight actually happening?
Well, I started thinking about it, you know, a couple of years ago when they started talking about Spence fighting Canelo. Then just, you know, sizing him up, like, all right, how tall is he? You know, how long his arms and things like that, just sizing him up like that and going to his fights and things like that. And when he walk out the ring, I'm looking at him like, man, all that big, you know. So me talking with Turkey and Turkey not wanting to fight, and me like, yeah, this is the fight that I want, being that, you know, he's the last.
Boxing analyst Andre Ward have provided additional analysis on the bout. Respected for his ring acumen and capacity to dissect boxing techniques, Ward has pointed out that Crawford and Canelo have comparable methods. Both are puncher boxers, combining talent and strength. Ward stresses that neither combatant can afford to be careless, though they have to change and become boxer punchers, striking a balance between their strong punching prowess and the self-control required to stay out of trouble.
I'm going with Terence Crawford, you know. Big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me that you...
Former light heavyweight champion Antonio Tarver has stated his confidence that Crawford would win, which adds even more drama to the bout. Despite admitting that Canelo is a superb fighter, Tarver believes this will be Crawford's most difficult test to date because of the stylistic and physical obstacles Canelo poses. Tarver thinks that Crawford's ring smarts will give him the advantage over Canelo, who might find it difficult to match Crawford's quickness, fluidity, and unpredictable style.
Terence got to be Terence, bro. He's a real deep thinker. He processed fights like nobody else. And he's processed this Canelo fight. He's seen it. He went through it 2 or 3 times already. He knows how this ends. You can tell the way he shadow boxes. He visualizing Canelo being right there in front of him. You understand? Look at the movement. That's all you got to do. Look at the movement. And that's the type of master boxer that Canelo is going to be facing. And the only thing I say is Canelo hasn't faced an opponent like this in a long time. You know what I mean? I think Canelo's going to have to go back to the Caleb Plant fight and look that good, that active, that, you feel me, moving with that type of grace to beat Terence Crawford. Because weight ain't going to make the difference. It ain't going to be the weight. It's going to be the...
Not everyone, though, is as certain that Crawford can pull off the upset. Given that Crawford must make a big weight leap, Regis Progress has advised against underestimating Canelo's strength. According to Progress, Canelo has defeated strong punchers like Gennady Golovkin and Sergey Kovalev in the past. Crawford's increase in weight might have an impact on his power and speed, which should work in Canelo's benefit. Progress thinks that confronting a fighter as formidable and combat-tested as Canelo may prove to be too much for Crawford to handle.
You know, I think that Crawford has the ability to outbox Canelo. You gotta look at it. And then Canelo's older. Crawford has the ability, but he's small, you know, and he can look bigger Crawford could look bigger in the weigh-ins and all that stuff, but it's always a difference. When you get in that fight with somebody, you can tell. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel fought him, the twin, he fought Crawford, and in all the stuff, the weigh-ins and the press conference, Jamel looked like the bigger man. You know, his head, his neck, everything looked bigger, but when they got in the fight, you can tell. You can see who really was the bigger man, and I think that's the same thing. Crawford is putting on weight, but it's not weight. Like, Canelo had the weight already. He doesn't have to put on muscle. He doesn't have to do that. He's already big like that. But I think that Crawford does have the style. He does have the style to beat him. If you look at the people that beat him or gave him troubles, Irislan, De Lara, Austin Trout, Floyd, and Bivol. You know, they gave him trouble and stuff like that. And Skull moved around a little bit too. So I think that Crawford has that. But I don't know how Crawford is gonna respond when he gets hit. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel was undisputed at 154, and Canelo hit him and shit. Jamel was like, hell no. Jamel took a knee. You know, so it's a big difference. And Crawford had that one fight at 154, and he didn't. You know, Madrimov would touch him up a little bit. And this is nowhere close to Madrimov. You talk about Canelo. Now, if it was just another bigger guy, I would go with Crawford. But you talk about great. This might be. I mean, people might kill me for it, but well, not really, but this might be the best Mexican.
Legendary boxer Roy Jones Jr. has commented on the fight and stated that he thinks Crawford has several ways to win. He notes that, in contrast to Canelo, Crawford is a more adaptable boxer who has multiple strategies for victory. According to Jones, Crawford is the favorite because of his hunger and versatility in the ring. However, he acknowledges that if he fights the right bout, Canelo might still prove him wrong.
Fight that he can fight, on the correct fight that he can fight, he does have a chance, and I think he could be victorious. If he doesn't fight one way, he all fight to win it. Terence Crawford has 6 ways he can.
In addition, Andy Ruiz offered his opinions on the battle, recognizing the difficulties both competitors will have. Ruiz, a Canelo supporter, is aware of the Mexican champion's weight advantage. He quickly points out, though, that Crawford's approach poses a special threat to the champion because Canelo has had trouble with southpaw fighters in the past. Instead of selecting a certain winner, Ruiz views the bout as an exciting spectacle that may go either way.
How is that if you were in a Canelo Crawford card, that card would be a million times bigger. Still amazing card, but you would have added a lot. Who wins, Canelo or Crawford?
I think it's going to be a good fight, man. I'm going for Canelo, of course. You know, he's the Mexican warrior as well. And for Crawford, man, you can't neglect him or you can't underestimate him as well. You know, he has a lot of skills, a lot of movement. He's a lefty as well. That's what Canelo has trouble with. I think it's going to be an amazing fight, man. I just can't wait.
Renowned coach Abel Sanchez, who spent years working with Gennady Golovkin, has offered a more critical viewpoint. According to Sanchez, Crawford's quick weight growth over the course of 14 to 15 months could be a serious drawback. He contends that Crawford might have had a better chance against a fighter like Canelo if he had invested more time in preparing his body for the weight increase. The worry is that Crawford might become less quick and agile as he lifts the higher weight, which could work to Canelo's advantage.
In such a short period of time, I'm not saying he couldn't have done it if he'd have taken 3 or 4 years like Canelo did and built up his
not only his strength but his bulk in the correct way, he would have had a better chance. But to do it in these 14, 15 months that he's done it.
Everyone is making predictions as the big fight draws near. Renowned boxing